Hi, my name is Steve Hisasu. I live in California right now. I didn't really get serious with life until I was about 16 and asked the big question, what's the meaning of life and how do I find peace? And I started reading the Bible and going to church since I didn't know too much about it. And one of the first things I learned was that if I wanted to find peace, I need to find God. So I started searching for God. I found out one problem in having a relationship with God is that there's sin in my life. Now, I thought I was a pretty good person. I didn't do anything real bad at that young age. But it wasn't until I started reading the Bible that I found out God was concerned about my motives, not only what I did. For example, Jesus said that if you look at a woman with lust, that's like committing adultery in your heart. And the Bible also said that if you hate someone, that's like committing murder. And Jesus said anger is a form of murder if you're angry at someone. And then Jesus also said, love your enemies, not just love your friends. It says even the worst sinners love those who love them. And I began to realize that wasn't such a good guy as I thought I was. And that since God is holy and hates all sin, he couldn't have a relationship with me or anyone who is a sinner. Understanding this was very important for me to understand what the importance of who Jesus was and why he came. Didn't know too much about him, and found out that he claimed that he came from heaven, God sent him, and that in a sense he was God in the flesh, and that he got his teachings from God. And the main reason he came was to deal with that sin that was separating me and God. And the way he did that was he was willing to pay the penalty for my sin and anyone's sin who believed in him. Because the penalty for sin was death, according to the Bible. So that was the reason why he had to die. He was willing to die in my place. I deserved death, and he was willing to take my sin on him and pay that penalty. And if I believed in him and turned from my sins, which is called repenting, that he would forgive me of my sins. And so one night in my room by myself, I was praying. I told God that I believed that Jesus was his son and that he died for my sin and that he rose again the third day. And I asked God to send Jesus in my heart and to give me a new life. And I guess I was expecting something to happen. I don't know, hear voices or at least feel better, but I didn't. But looking back now, I can see some important changes started happening in my life. And the most important is that I felt God was with me, very near instead of way out there, some far place, distant. And that he became central in my life instead of me being the center of my life. And that changed my attitude about other people. I began to realize I become concerned about others and not just thinking about myself mostly, and those were the two big changes. Eventually, after about a year, I began to experience peace, probably because I had a hard time really believing that I was forgiven. Felt there I had to do something myself to get forgiven, and I realized if God's sacrifice of his only son wasn't good enough, then nothing would be good enough. So I had began to experience peace because I really believed that I was forgiven. So that's my story, and if you have any questions or like to talk about it more, please get in touch with me. I have my email. You can correspond with me, and I'm inviting you to a live broadcast of my nephew's, who's a pastor, and a sermon that he's giving this Sunday, Easter Sunday. So I hope my story has helped you. Thank you.